Before Islam, Arabia was a land of sharp contrasts. It was a world of poetry, trade routes, and fierce independence, but also a world without a single moral or legal center. Society was built around tribes. Your safety, dignity, and justice depended almost entirely on who you were born to. If your tribe was strong, you were protected. If it was weak, you were vulnerable. There was no unified law that applied to everyone equally. Disputes were settled through retaliation, not courts. One killing could spiral into generations of revenge. Wealth circulated among elites, while the poor, the orphan, the widow, the enslaved, and the outsider lived at the margins. Women's status varied by tribe, but in many places they had few legal protections. Charity existed, but it was voluntary and inconsistent. Power followed bloodlines, not principles. This was not a society without values. It had honor, loyalty, courage, and hospitality, but those values were selective. They applied inward, not outward. They protected us, not everyone. Then Islam arrived, and this is the part many people miss. Islam did not arrive only as a personal belief system. It arrived as a complete social reset. Its first move was radical for its time. It attacked the idea that dignity comes from lineage. Instead, it placed moral responsibility at the center of human worth. Tribe no longer determined your value before God. Accountability did. That single shift rewired society. Justice was no longer meant to bend for status. The idea, however imperfectly practiced in history, was that no one stood above the law. The ruler and the ruled were answerable to the same moral standard. That concept alone was revolutionary in a world where elites were rarely touched by consequences. The most vulnerable people were no longer invisible. Orphans, the poor, the indebted, travelers, and the marginalized were named repeatedly, not as charity cases, but as people with rights. Wealth was no longer meant to circulate only among the powerful. Charity became structured, mandatory, and systemic. It wasn't left to emotion. It was built into the social order. Conflict changed too. War, which in many ancient societies meant whatever could be taken, was given ethical limits. Discipline, restraint, and accountability became ideals that actions could be judged against, even when history failed to live up to them. And then came something that reshaped civilization far beyond Arabia. Knowledge became sacred. Learning was not just useful, it was virtuous. The world was presented as ordered, meaningful, and worth studying. This belief didn't automatically create scholars, but it created a culture where scholarship was honored, funded, and protected. That is why, generations later, Islamic civilization would build libraries, hospitals, schools, observatories, and legal institutions across vast regions. Now, honesty matters here. No civilization becomes perfect overnight. As Islamic states expanded, politics entered everything. Dynasties fought. Power corrupted. Some rulers betrayed the values they claimed to represent. Religion was sometimes used as a tool rather than a guide. The tension between ideals and human behavior became one of the central struggles of Islamic history. But the framework mattered. Compared to what came before, society had changed direction. Identity expanded beyond tribe. Law gained structure. Charity gained teeth. Knowledge gained status. The moral conversation shifted from, "Who are you related to?" to "What are you responsible for?" That brings us to the modern question people argue about constantly. Why does Islam appear to be growing so fast today? And what is happening to everyone else? The evidence-based answer is quieter than the internet makes it sound. Globally, Islam's growth is driven mostly by demographics. Muslim populations tend to be younger, with higher fertility rates in many regions. That means more births, not necessarily more conversions. Strong family structures and community retention play a major role. Migration patterns matter too. At the same time, other religions are not simply disappearing. In many parts of the world, especially Africa, Christian populations are growing in absolute numbers. What's changing is the global balance, shaped by different growth rates, age structures, and levels of disaffiliation in some regions. So the real story isn't domination or decline. It's momentum. Islam grew rapidly in its early centuries because it offered something many societies lacked: a shared identity, bigger than tribe, and a moral system that could unite people across race, class, and geography. Today, its growth reflects demographics, continuity, and community stability more than mass conversion. The deeper lesson is this: societies don't rise or fall on belief alone. They rise or fall on whether their systems answer basic human needs: justice, belonging, dignity, purpose, and continuity. Islam reshaped society, not BC.